that a man dangling from a parachute, wounded and helpless, could bring down a fighter plane with nothing but a pistol. In every war, there are moments so improbable that they sound more like fiction than history. This is the story of how a 22-year-old co-pilot from Texas did exactly that, and why the truth might be even stranger than the legend. Before we get to the impossible shot, you need to understand where Owen Baggett came from and how far he was from anything resembling a battlefield. Owen John Baggett was born on August 29, 1920, in Graham, Texas, a small town where cattle outnumbered ambitions and Friday nights belonged to football. He was the kind of kid everyone remembered, quick with a smile, never met a stranger. At Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, he didn't study warfare. He studied music theory and composition, marching across football fields as drum major of the cowboy band. After graduating in 1941, he took his degree to Wall Street, where he worked as a defense contractor in an office that smelled of paper and coffee, not gunpowder. Then Pearl Harbor changed everything. Like millions of young Americans, Baggett enlisted. He joined the Army Air Corps in early 1942 and was funneled into pilot training at the new Columbus Army Flying School. By July of that year, he had earned his wings as a second lieutenant. The kid who used to lead a marching band was now learning to fly one of the heaviest bombers in the American arsenal, the consolidated B-24 Liberator. Here is what most people do not tell you about the B-24. It was a workhorse, yes, capable of carrying 5,000 pounds of bombs over 1,700 miles. It was faster than the B-17 Flying Fortress and could reach higher altitudes. But the men who flew it had a different vocabulary for it. They called it the Flying Coffin. The high-mounted Davis wing, designed for aerodynamic efficiency, made the aircraft brutally unforgiving in a crash. And the fuel system, well, the B-24 had a nasty reputation for catching fire. That reputation would matter very soon. Baggett was assigned as co-pilot to First Lieutenant Lloyd Jensen in the 9th Bomb Squadron of the 7th Bomb Group, 10th Air Force. Their base was a small airfield at Pandaveswar, tucked in the Bengal province of British India, just northwest of Calcutta. The 10th Air Force was one of the smallest in the entire theatre, responsible for an absurdly vast area of operations.
A small airfield at Pandaveswar, northwest of Calcutta.
Protect the Allied supply lines running between India and China and disrupt Japanese logistics across occupied Burma. The distances were enormous. The fighter escorts were scarce. And the Japanese knew it. If you are still watching...
The fighter escorts were scarce. And the Japanese knew it. Pay close attention to what happens next.
Orders to destroy a critical railroad bridge near Pyinmana.
A crossing point sandwiched halfway between Rangoon and Mandalay. The bridge sat between two active Japanese fighter bases. The mission was dangerous by design. The B-24s would fly in formation, unescorted, deep into enemy territory. Colonel Conrad Neckerson, commander of the 7th Bomb Group, led the formation personally. Jensen's B-24, with Baggett in the right seat.
Keep your eyes peeled for those fighters.
I see something.
Well,
Mitsubishi A6M0s and Nakajima Ki 43 Oscars intercepted the bombers before they could line up on the target.
Tally-ho! Here they come! Man your guns! Bandits closing fast!
Neckerson himself was badly wounded, but it was Jensen's bomber that took the worst of it. Rounds tore into the fuel tanks. Oxygen bottles shattered, feeding flames that erupted through the rear fuselage. 19-year-old Sergeant Samuel Crostick climbed out of his top turret and grabbed a fire extinguisher, fighting the blaze while balanced on the narrow catwalk above the open bomb bay. Below him, the bomb bay doors hung open. One wrong step, and there was nothing between him and 20,000 feet of empty air. It was not enough. The fire was spreading faster than anyone could contain it. The intercom was destroyed. Baggett passed the order to bail out using hand signals, screaming words no one could hear over the roar of engines and flames.
Intercom's out. One. Check the signal. Stop it, stop it. Okay. Bail out! Bail out! Jump! 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 Get out now! Move! Move!
Your parachute opens. You are alive. And then the Japanese pilots circle back. Not for the wreckage, but for you. The Zeros began strafing the parachuting crewmen as they drifted down. Baggett watched in horror as at least two of his crewmates jerked in their harnesses and went limp. He himself was hit. A round grazed his left arm, sending pain lancing through his body.
No, please!
The Japanese pilots circle back, not for the wreckage.
No! Stop! Leave them alone! Damn you! Leave them! Get off! Get off! No!
The pilot slid open his canopy. He wanted to confirm the kill. He flew so close that Baggett could see his face. And here is where history holds its breath. Baggett, who had been quietly gripping his M1911 pistol against his thigh, snapped upright and fired 4 rounds into the open cockpit. The fighter stalled. It pitched upward, then spiraled toward the jungle below. Eyewitnesses from the formation watched the plane crash. Whether Owen Baggett's .45 caliber bullet killed the pilot or merely incapacitated him enough to lose control remains debated to this day. But the result was the same. A man hanging from a parachute, armed with nothing but a sidearm, had brought down a fighter aircraft. If confirmed, it would be the only successful air-to-air kill with a pistol in the history of aerial warfare. But the story does not end with the shot. It barely begins. Baggett reached the ground alive. So did Jensen and Crostick. They regrouped near the landing zone, hiding behind trees as enemy aircraft continued to circle overhead.
Jensen and Crostick.
They're still up there. They'll be gone soon. Get down. Oh God, I hear them.
Their relief was short-lived.
We are the village. We saw your smoke. Are you the Americans?
Baggett, Jensen, and Crostick were transported to the Changi prison camp near Singapore.
Changi prison camp near Singapore.
One of the most notorious prisoner of war facilities.
Keep moving, faster! Just a little further. Oh, God.
Conditions were brutal. Overcrowding, starvation rations, disease and forced labor defined daily existence. Thousands of Allied soldiers were packed into a facility built for a fraction of that number. Malaria, dysentery, and beriberi swept through the barracks. Men who had weighed 180 pounds wasted down to skeletons. Baggett would spend more than 2.5 years there, losing nearly half his body weight.
A small piece of blue, and for a moment, I was free.
Colonel Harry Melton, commander of the 311th Fighter Group, who had also been shot down that same day, passed through the prison.
He was found.
They are coming. They're here.
No other Allied fighters had been in the area.
You need to know. It's Melton. He saw everything. Edding.
File via report. It's the only way we stand a chance.
The ship was sunk. The confirmation died with him.
The ship transporting him toward Japan was sunk, and Melton was killed. The confirmation died with him, and the official Japanese records from that day reported no aircraft losses, a claim many historians regard with skepticism, given that both sides routinely filed misleading reports during wartime.
Stand up, hook up, check your equipment. All secure. Green light, go, go, go. Steady now, prepare for landing. Go, go, go. All right, men, move in. You're safe now. We're free. Thank God we're finally free.
He came home to discover he had become famous.
He came home to discover he had become famous for a shot he was never entirely certain he had made. But here is the part of Owen Baggett's story that most people miss, and it is the part that deserves to be remembered. The Japanese prison commandant, Major General Arimura, had offered Baggett what he considered the highest honor: instruction in the ritual of harakiri. Baggett declined. He endured starvation, torture, and the crushing weight of captivity. And when he finally came home, he carried none of it as bitterness. His obituary, published after his death on July 27, 2006 in New Braunfels, Texas, said it plainly. The essence of the man was not the shot. It was that he survived the horrors of war and his imprisonment without bitterness or hatred. Baggett stayed in the Air Force after the war, rising to the rank of colonel before retiring in 1973. He worked as a defense contractor manager for Litton Industries. He was recognized for his work with children, sponsoring young people in the military's Commander for a Day program. He lived quietly. He smiled easily. He never stopped being the kid from Graham, Texas, who never met a stranger. Whether or not Owen Baggett truly brought down that fighter with a .45 caliber pistol, and the evidence, while circumstantial, is compelling. What is beyond dispute is this: a young man who studied music and worked on Wall Street found himself dangling from a parachute over the jungles of Burma, wounded and alone, and chose to fight with the only weapon he had, He spent years in one of the most brutal prison camps of the war, and he came out the other side whole. That is not a war story. That is a story about what a human being is capable of when everything that can go wrong already has.